"Grandma, why does your house smell like that?" Those were the words that made her freeze, not because the child meant harm, but because the truth was too sharp for her old ears. Grandma Evelyn had just served yam porridge. Her grandchild had barely touched the spoon, and now she was wrinkling her nose, like the air itself had grown heavy. The smell no one talks about. No one ever says it out loud, but most people know it's there. That old people smell. It's not sweat. It's not perfume. It's something different. A quiet smell that lives in old homes, sticks to old clothes, and sometimes wraps around the body of someone you love. Evelyn stood still, spoon in hand, as those words echoed in her chest. She didn't get angry, but her heart dropped. "I clean every day," she whispered to herself. "I bathe. I wash my clothes. Why would I smell?" What she didn't know. That smell isn't dirt. It's not even from laziness. It comes from the body as it grows older. As we age, our skin changes, our sweat changes, our hormones slow down, and inside the body, a chemical called 2-nonenal starts building up on the skin. Doctors say this has nothing to do with how clean you are, but the smell can still settle in on pillows, bed sheets, clothes, and even walls. And if no one tells you gently, you just keep living in it, not knowing, not noticing, until someone finally says something out loud. Grandma Evelyn stood by the window that evening. She wasn't just thinking about soap, she was thinking about dignity. That night, Grandma Evelyn couldn't sleep. She was lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling fan as it turned slowly. Her house was quiet, but her heart was not. The words kept coming back. "Why does your house smell like that?" She got up. She checked her wrapper. She smelled her bed sheets. She even opened her wardrobe and sniffed her clothes one by one. Everything smelled like her. But now, she wasn't sure if that was a good thing. What the body does after 60. Evelyn had no idea that the smell wasn't her fault. Not really. As people age, the body slows down. The skin changes. The way sweat leaves the body changes. The liver moves slower, and because of that, the body starts to push out a fatty chemical called 2-nonenal. It smells a bit musty, like stale oil or old wood, sometimes sweet, but not in a good way. You can't see it, but it sticks to the skin, the clothes, the pillows, and even the walls and furniture. And it builds over time. Why elders don't smell it themselves? The reason many elders don't know. Because as people get older, their sense of smell also gets weaker. So Grandma Evelyn was bathing every day. She was washing her clothes. She was wiping the floor with hot water and Dettol. But that smell, it was still living in her room, in her wardrobe, in the folds of her pillowcases, and the sad part, nobody told her until a child said it, without meaning to hurt her. Shame begins when silence lives too long. The next morning, Grandma didn't speak much. She didn't greet her neighbors the way she used to. She didn't play the radio. She just kept thinking, "Is this what people think of me when they come close?" And yet, this smell, this silent thing, can be changed with love, with small habits, and without shame. Grandma Evelyn woke up early the next morning. The sun hadn't fully risen yet. She tied her wrapper, swept her room as usual, but this time she did something extra. She opened every single window. She opened her wardrobe doors. She shook her blankets and left them under the sunlight. Then she sat down and she started thinking. If my body is clean and my house is clean, then what else is holding this smell? She started looking with new eyes. She picked up her pillow and smelled it. She had been using it for years. It had no cover, just the same old cloth. She sniffed again. Yes, it smelled old, not dirty, just stuck. She went to her chair, the one she always sat in. She leaned close and smelled the armrest. Yes, the scent was there too. That was when she realized the smell wasn't in her body anymore. It was in the things around her. She took the first step. She didn't have much money, but she had wisdom. She took her bucket, poured hot water, added lemon peels and salt, and she began wiping everything. She didn't wait for someone to come and do it. She didn't shout for help. She just started, one cloth at a time, one window at a time, one chair at a time. She was not just cleaning her house, she was reclaiming her space. The secret of air and sunlight. What Grandma didn't know was this: sunlight helps break down the smell of 2-non-enol, and fresh air pushes it out. So all the opening, all the shaking, all the wiping, it was doing more than she thought. It was helping her home breathe again. And as the house began to breathe, so did she. That evening, she sat in her chair, wrapped in her freshly aired wrapper. She was tired, yes, but she was proud. "My home should smell like me," she said, "and I should smell like love, not shame." After she cleaned her house, Grandma Evelyn sat in her room the next morning, and something felt different. The air was lighter. The pillows didn't feel so heavy anymore. She could sit back in her chair and not wonder if someone would wrinkle their nose. But something was still on her mind. She was thinking, if the smell also comes from my skin, what more can I do? So she asked her daughter quietly, "Can we talk about my bathing soap?" What she learned about soap and skin. Her daughter smiled and said, "Mama, you've been using that black soap since I was a child." And she was right. It was a good soap, gentle, clean, but it wasn't removing the oils that hold 2-non-enol, that invisible aging scent. So they tried something different, a mild body wash with green tea and lemon, and they added a little baking soda scrub once a week, not harsh, just gentle. She started bathing. Differently before, she used to rush. One bucket, quick rinse. But now she bathed slowly. She washed behind her ears, under her arms, between folds of skin. And after bathing, she dried herself well. No damp wrappers. Then she rubbed coconut oil with drops of lemon oil in it. Her skin started to feel fresher. And when she lay on her bed at night, she didn't smell anything strange. Just clean. Just Evelyn. What she changed in her diet. One evening, her son's wife said, "Mama, do you know some foods can change how we smell?" Evelyn listened. She learned that too much red meat, lots of fried food, and too little water can cause more body odor. So she made small changes. More water every day, especially in the morning. Fruits like pawpaw and oranges, less fried stew, more steamed veggies, green tea once a day instead of soda. She didn't stop eating what she loved, but she gave her body a chance to breathe from inside. The moment she knew it was working. A week later, her neighbor came to return a bowl. She stepped into Evelyn's room, looked around, and said, "Ah, Evelyn, your place smells like new bed sheets." Evelyn smiled, not wide, but it reached her eyes. It was a warm Thursday afternoon. Evelyn was sitting under the mango tree in her compound, peeling oranges. Her wrapper smelled fresh. Her smile was soft. Then Mama Gloria walked by. She was one of the quiet ones, always neat, always polite. But she never let anyone inside her house. That day, Evelyn called out, "Come and sit with me, Gloria. Let me peel one for you." Gloria hesitated, then slowly walked over. Evelyn decided to share. As they sat and peeled together, Evelyn leaned in and said gently, "Do you ever worry about how your room smells?" Gloria's face changed. She didn't speak at first. Then she nodded and whispered, "Every day." She told Evelyn how her children had stopped sleeping over, how the neighbor boy once said her room smelled like rain and old shoes, and how she cried that night. Evelyn reached out, touched her hand, and said, "Me too, but I found a way to make it better. Gently, slowly." She taught her the simple things. She told her everything. Open the windows first thing in the morning. Put your wrappers and bed sheets under the sun. Use lemon water to wipe chairs and corners. Try green tea soap or baking soda once a week. Drink more water. Don't fear fruits. They help more than we think. Gloria listened carefully. She didn't write it down. She repeated it out loud, line by line, like a student. And then she said, "Do you think it will help me too?" Evelyn smiled and said, "It helped me." And your body still wants to be fresh. Just give it a chance. The next week, Gloria washed all her wrappers. She opened her curtains. She bathed slower. And she even bought a new sponge. Then, on Sunday, she came to church in a wrapper that smelled like lemon leaves. Evelyn saw her walk in with her chin slightly higher. And that was a quiet miracle. It began slowly. First, the young girl who swept the church hall whispered to her friend, "Mama Evelyn smells like powder and oranges these days." Then the tailor said, "She brought in wrappers that smelled like the sun." And at the Sunday women's meeting, someone leaned close to Evelyn and said, "You've been looking lighter. Did you travel?" Evelyn smiled, not because they praised her clothes, but because they didn't mention the smell anymore. And that meant everything. More elders started asking questions. Mama Kemi, who lived 2 houses down, came by one morning. She didn't waste time. "I heard you have a new trick. I want to stop smelling like damp yam." Evelyn laughed gently and nodded. She invited her in. She didn't give a lecture. She simply told her story, step by step, gently, kindly, slowly. They sat together with buckets, wiping plastic chairs with lemon water. They laughed when the soap spilled, and they took breaks when their backs got tired. It was no longer about shame. It became community soon. There were 5 women, then 7. They started calling themselves the Fresh Circle. They met once a week in someone's compound. Each brought a wrapper to air in the sun, a little lemon, a clean sponge, a bottle of water. They helped one another wash, scrub, and dry. But more importantly, they helped each other remember they were still worth caring for. The young began to notice children stopped avoiding hugs. Grandchildren stayed longer in rooms. One boy even said, "Grandma smells like oranges now." And that was the moment Evelyn knew. This wasn't just about the body anymore. It was about restoring honor. His name was Uncle Matthew. He was a retired headmaster, always neat, always alone. He lived 2 streets away in a small house with faded blue windows. He hadn't come to church in almost a year, not even for Christmas. People said he had become too weak, but Evelyn wasn't sure. One afternoon, she was walking past his gate when she heard coughing. She called out, "Uncle Matthew, are you okay?" After a long pause, he came to the door. He looked tired, and something about his eyes seemed heavy, like shame had been living there. The smell that kept him inside. They sat outside under his mango tree. He opened up slowly. "Evelyn, my body is clean. I bathe. But my clothes, my room." He looked down. "I smell like a cupboard no one opens." She didn't laugh. She didn't even flinch. She simply nodded and said, "It's not your fault. It's your body changing. But it can be helped." She spoke to him like a friend. She explained the same things. The way 2 noninal builds with age. How air and sunlight help fabrics breathe again. How lemon water and baking soda could gently remove buildup. And how certain foods and water help the body inside. He listened, holding the rim of his chair tightly. Then he whispered, "I thought I was just rotting quietly." Evelyn placed her hand on his and said, "You're not rotting. You're still living." and life smells better when we give it room to breathe. He tried. Slowly. Quietly. The next week, he washed his curtains. He opened his wardrobe for the first time in months. He asked his nephew to buy lemon and mild soap. He aired his mattress under the morning sun, and 2 Sundays later, he walked into church wearing a white shirt, not new, but fresh. The Fresh Circle women smiled softly. They didn't say much, but their eyes welcomed him like light. It was a calm evening. Evelyn sat on her clean porch, holding a cup of warm tea. The sky was golden. The wind smelled like soap and lemon, and for the first time in many years, she felt like her home matched her spirit. No more hiding wrappers, no more folding shame inside pillowcases, no more pretending she couldn't smell what others avoided. She had faced it gently, quietly, completely. The message: she wanted every elder to know. She didn't become rich. She didn't change her whole house, but she learned that small habits carry power. She often told others, open your windows early, let your home breathe. Wash with kindness, don't scrub in anger. Let your clothes feel the sun. Drink more water, eat from the earth. And don't let shame live where you should feel safe. Because truthfully, our bodies are not betraying us. They are simply asking for softer care. It's not about smell. It's about honor. Evelyn always said, I don't want people to remember my scent with a frown. I want them to feel peace when they enter my space. And that's what she gave. Not just a fresh room, but a fresh example. A gentle affirmation to end with. If you are over 60, if you've ever wondered why your home or body smells different now, if you've felt ashamed but didn't know who to talk to, then listen gently. My body is still mine. It is not decaying. It is asking me to love it in a new way. Each day I open the windows. Each day I breathe in light. And each day I give myself permission to smell like grace. If this story reminded you of someone you love, or made you feel seen in a way no one has before, then like, share, and subscribe to Aging with Grace. Because here, we don't shame aging. We listen, we learn, and we grow softer together.